Anyway, Jeff Merrick's in Ontario. How are you, Jeff?
Hi, Jeff.
Yeah, digging out of 30, 40 centimeters of snow last night was a balmy dash 24. So not thinking about afternoon golf anytime soon. But I think I've mentioned to you guys on a couple of different occasions, not much of a golfer.
No.
Always remember, when it comes to Merrick, the best two balls he hits is when he steps on a rake. So
Right.
not the finest of all possible.
The rare sports media
enjoy.
personality that is not a golfer. It's
Right.
It's tough to find these days.
Oh yeah, I know. I maybe it's just because I've never excelled at it, and I quit early on it. I think I played. I'll play at the odd charity event, and I'm really miserable.
Yeah.
Both my kids play. Both my kids the last 2 summers have picked it up, and so the boys love golf. So and when we travel down south, we always try to find a resort that has a course. So I play caddy. I drive golf carts. That's what I do. I'm a sports Uber who drives golf carts. That's
You're
what it says
just
on the business card.
It's a good
now.
dad.
You were
It's a good
such a
dad.
get along guy. You were such a great dad to your. What was it again? He's got a
2010, 2012. 2010,
he's got a
2012.
2010 and a 2012, right?
Yeah.
They have
Gotta
names, but
sound
we'll
like
just call them by their
no,
birth
we
year.
got to go douchebag hockey dad style here on this one.
I was saying in the previous segment, after watching the game Tuesday, where the San Jose Sharks looked like they were playing pond hockey, river hockey, it was that easy. I felt super good for those Canucks players yesterday to be able to hang a 0 and talk about a shutout postgame with both goaltenders, as it turns out, because the defending Tuesday was just not at an NHL level. I'm not sure it was at an AHL level. And so to see what we saw and a bounce back, and especially for this coaching staff, Jeff.
One of the things that we tend to forget is how much pride athletes have, and as much as the management may want to rebuild things, coaches and players don't. They're still playing for their team and playing for themselves, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I know the common wisdom might be, oh yeah, these guys have all thrown in the towel. These guys have all you don't get to the NHL by having an attitude like that. So I kind of get the feeling that it's going to be like this the rest of the way for the Vancouver Canucks. There's going to be those games where the Macklin Celebrinis and Will Smiths demonstrate why they're the next wave of elite level player in the NHL, and then there's going to be those, we have too much pride to let this happen, bounce backs. And I say that tongue planted firmly in cheek, I know, because watching last night, watching the Maple Leafs lose to the Seattle Kraken, as their woes, they just keep digging deeper and deeper and deeper. And I say to myself, like, at a certain point, I remember Darren McCarty told me once, I asked him, like, when did you hit rock bottom? And he said, you never hit rock bottom. All you do is decide to stop digging. And it doesn't always last, but yesterday, at least for one night, the Vancouver Canucks players, coaching staff decided to stop digging. And you're right, they can feel good about themselves about last night against a team that's really, once again, turning heads in the Anaheim Ducks.
They may have Game 7 of their own Stanley Cup final tomorrow against those Leafs, because when they know that the Leafs are on death's door and they might be able to deal the fatal blow, and I would guess at least half that Canucks room will know that. I would say they find something extra tomorrow, don't you?
It's interesting how it works at a lot of different levels too. Every single Vancouver Canucks fan wants to be the team that puts the dagger in the Maple Leafs. Now, I maintain that dagger's already in, and it was at the hands of the Buffalo Sabres earlier this week, and specifically Rasmus Dahlin. How do you not cheer for Rasmus Dahlin this year, and that hat trick and 2 assists in that game as well? But I mean, even though they're not sort of lowering the body into the grave or lowering the coffin, I'm sure Vancouver Canucks fans would delight in at least throwing some dirt on it. Yeah. And there's going to be a great chance for them to do it on Saturday night, on Hockey Night in Canada. It's funny too, because there's a lot of teams that feel that way and a lot of players that feel that way. Having said that, I've always maintained that if you're an NHLer and your team doesn't make the playoffs and you're concerned about escrow, you want the Maple Leafs and the Rangers and Chicago and all these other teams to go as deep in the playoffs as you can. Although as many have told me, I will park that vibe if it means the Maple Leafs are out early.
Well, and of course, they will also revel in being able to shut up the home Leafs crowd here in Vancouver.
There's that too. All those people.
Because there is going to be a lot of blue and white in the building, given the way this Canucks season has gone, and the folks selling off their tickets.
Can I ask you a question? I've always wondered about this, and the NHL does this obviously with the Global Series, for example. Like they'll buy out the home games, right? So they can play them in Sweden, Finland, and Germany. Like that's the way that it works. So was looking at the schedule not too long, the NHL schedule, and looking at the last Washington Capital. I'm going to get back to Vancouver here. The last Washington Capitals game of this season. Okay, and it might be the last ever game in the NHL for Alexander Ovechkin, and it's in Columbus at Nationwide Arena. The NHL, for events like the Global Series, will buy out teams from their home game. We've never seen a team, though, buy a home game away from another team. Now, you know at Nationwide, for that game, it's going to be full of Capitals fans, which pay top dollar to go there, so scalpers will make a ton of money. Sorry, the secondary market will make a lot of money. If you're the Washington Capitals, could you even propose to buy a home date off of another team?
No.
And play it at home? My instinct says no, but if both teams are out, and you know it's like essentially, do the Columbus Blue Jackets want a Washington Capitals home game at Nationwide on game 82? The answer is probably no. It's never been really, I've never had the conversation before if it's even allowed.
No.
If you could do it for two teams that are out. I mean, I know I have a lot of stupid ideas in my head, and this is probably just the latest one, but I wonder about this one.
But they're a good hockey market. They'll like having Ovechkin.
No. It's a competitive matter. It's irregular. It's a competitive matter, and we wouldn't want to cause a hysteria with our fans.
The integrity of the league is of such that you need to have that.
I don't think he would allow it.
The issue is you don't want to set the precedent.
That's it.
Right?
Like, because then the Leafs can go about buying home games for, the Leafs and Rangers can go about buying home games, and then next thing you know, you got a competitive.
It's a competitive advantage.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering about like a non-precedent setting, once in a lifetime, last game for. I don't know. I'm just thinking like how my brain goes here, guys.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering about that. These are things that occupy my time.
And before you say anything untoward about Columbus, Jeff, just remember this league has never been stronger. Okay.
Well, you know what they should. You know what they should have done. They should have done the last game of the season. They saw this coming a mile away. They should have done a stadium series game. They should have done a stadium series game on the last day of the season. Now, I guess they could have had playoff implications. You don't want that outside, but 100,000 people at Penn State watching Ovechkin. There you go.
Or just have the last game of the season in Washington and make it against Columbus if you have to. He started his career against Columbus in Washington. Why
it's
not
weird that they didn't.
Honestly, if you want to say the schedule maker should have had them at home on game 82, fair enough. Yeah. But hey, this is how the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, how good was? We're going to get back to the Canucks, I promise. Nordiques versus Habs last night. How good was that?
Well, especially when the rough stuff started, I was like, "Oh my God, Vendredi Saint is happening again."
At 3-2, 4-2, whatever it was, and they were pushing and shoving. I was like, "Oh my God, inject it!"
Yeah, I was waiting for a horrible incident because it ended. One player's career, but Slager and Hamel. All over again with one official. That's always like the cautionary tale of one official trying to break up a fight. Like for everybody outside of Quebec City, it looked fantastic. It looked nostalgic. I understand Quebec Nordiques fans getting their backs up about it. More salt in the open wound, another knee to the ribs, another sand in the face, like the whole deal. But yeah, like I got that soap and warm water feeling watching it, and remembering back to all those games that took 4.5 hours to play and sort out penalty minutes, and watching the fights and also watching Stastny's and all of it. It was my favorite rivalry. It was my favorite rivalry in the history of me being a hockey fan. Like Edmonton, Calgary was great for a long time. But the thing about Montreal and Quebec, as you guys well know, it was more than just a game. Like it didn't hit the the pitch of like 1969 World Championships, after the Soviet tanks rolled down the cobblestone streets of Prague, Czechoslovakia facing off against the Soviet Union. Those were the two most intense games I would submit in the history of hockey. And you hear those players from Vaslav Nadamansky to Bobby Holik's dad talking about how we would die before we let the Soviets win those games. So it wasn't like that, but the closest thing to it were Habs Nordiques, because it was not just two rival teams. It was about, who was a true Quebecer, a Montreal Quebecer or a Quebec City Quebecer. And it was also brewery versus brewery. Let's not forget about that little sidebar to all of it. Like everything about that rivalry was just so perfect. And every game at the Colisée and every game at the Forum was so special because those buildings were special and the players were special and the violence had a very unique flavor to it as well. And yeah, man, that Louis Slager and Jean Hamel was one of the toughest things I'd ever seen in a fight.
The last night was a color rush too. The blue versus the red too.
Beautiful.
Oh, so good.
Just popped. It was anyway. I know I went on a long time about that, but yeah, long answer to a quick question. Yeah, loved it.
Gord Miller once said before a Czech-Slovak game, if you put a sword at center ice, someone might use it. In terms of Habs Nordiques, so here's the thing, and I can vividly remember being there as a kid. Daniel Bouchard standing on his head, and the Nordiques got an upset victory. And oh my God, getting a win over the Habs in those days, especially at the Forum, was a very big deal for those Nords fans.
Didn't pro wrestler Dino Bravo in Montreal go after a Quebec Nordiques either player or coach?
I believe that.
I got to go back and look at that.
Dino Bravo.
The late Dino Bravo, who died in very interesting fashion. Went after either a Nordique player or a coach. Do you remember that, Maddie?
I have vague recollections. I'm going to look that up. And of course, afterwards he set the world bench press record and then challenged Hogan for the belt on Saturday night's main event.
With the assistance of Jesse the Body Ventura, if memory
of course,
serves.
And his manager, Jimmy Hart, with the megaphone on the ring apron. No, here's the thing. A lot of Nordiques fans transferred their fandom over to the Avalanche quite quickly. And a lot of that had to do with Quebec City born, raised hero Patrick Roy. I don't think it hurt that Pierre Lacroix was running the team as well, and Patrick wasn't the only French-Canadian Quebecois on the team. I do think it is a gut punch, and it's a gut punch in particular because Gary has been so dismissive about that market ever getting an NHL team back, despite the fact they have two things going for them that a lot of these other markets don't have going for them. Number one, they have an NHL-ready rink in the Videotron Center. Yes. Number two, they actually have people who like hockey, who are fans of the sport of hockey. Like, you're not teaching hockey to anyone if you drop a team there. I heard Justin Bourne on Kiprio's show make a fantastic point. If they're going to do that, especially in the Forum, make a donation to Quebec City Minor Hockey. Say, here you go, Quebec City Minor Hockey. We, the Colorado Avalanche, are spending some money or equipment, whatever the case may be, to help grow the game in your town for the right to be able to use your sweater, something that so many of you feel so emotional about.
Metro area of Quebec City is $850 right now, so that's
itty bitty.
But it's Ottawa and Winnipeg. I mean, it's no smaller than that.
No, I think he's unhappy they have two Canadian markets of that side. A third one is indigestible for the Knish.
Selfishly, I would love to see it again. I wonder, the one of the things we come back to is the corporate support and the volatility of the Canadian dollar. Are two issues, which is why, listen, the next round of expansion I think we're all expecting is going to be Houston and Atlanta. And then after, once the municipalities sort their issues out, we wonder about Arizona again. And then after that, we'll see. I think there are still many that wonder if Gary's last signature move is a second team in Toronto, which, as I talk to members of the BOG year after year, that's one of the things that a lot of people still keep coming back to.
It's the best hockey market left for expansion because it could absolutely support two teams. The other thing about Quebec City, and especially in this day and age when the United States feels even more distant from the rest of the world, I think it's the French thing too. I think, another first overall pick refusing to play in Quebec City, or anybody refusing to play in Quebec City because they're just daunted by the linguistics of it all, is not something the NHL wants to deal with. Okay, let's talk Canucks.
Okay.
Some are wondering if you're making a coaching change with Adam Foote, is the Olympic break the time to do it? To that, you would say,
no. I would say Adam Foote squires this until the end of the season, and if you're going to make a coaching change, you want to do it when the field is as open as possible, unless the person you have in mind is close to signing with another team, or if someone suddenly becomes available. I think at that point you make your move.
Or you're promoting Manny Malhotra,
and you don't want to lose him in the offseason.
That to me makes, Malhotra makes 100% sense, right? And I think that this is a team that is in, as we all know, and you guys document on your program on a consistent basis, obviously, in a very sensitive area and in a very sensitive way right now. I think everything has to be kid gloves, it's always in some ways easier to tear down than build up. That's obvious. But right now, I think if you're Patrick Allvin, you're Jim Rutherford, you're looking at Adam Foote and you're saying, unless we feel that our guy's going somewhere, you're landing the plane here. This is yours for the remainder of the season, unless someone completely falls into your lap, as unexpected as perhaps St. Louis found themselves when they punted Drew Bannister. I was never really given a chance with the St. Louis Blues because Jim Montgomery became available, bluntly.
The Canucks also need to decide what they're going to be next year, and my gut, and most people's guts, I think, are as good as possible. Probably they don't have much of an appetite, I don't think, to tank for 2 years.
I have a tank theory that may satisfy their PR and optics requirements, but you go ahead with yours, and then I'll.
But that also informs this decision as well, doesn't it? Because if you want to be the best you can be next year, then sure, bring in Malhotra. But if you would like one more year of a top draft pick, I mean, what if Malhotra makes you the 24th best team in the league? You'd rather be the 30th team in the league, not the 24th.
Yeah. And the sidebar to that as well, go look at the history of the NHL and how many coaches have started rebuilds and finished them.
No, they don't happen. It doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen.
Hired to be
fired.
fired.
Someone who's in there to get the team to a certain place, and then that person is jettisoned when the team is ready to win. The most recent we've just seen, of course, the Anaheim Ducks, by bringing in Joel Quenneville as they were ready to turn the page. This is a story that's as old as the game itself.
Yeah.
So perhaps if you're, again, we're just assuming that, the job is available, Manny Malhotra is the preferred candidate. Of course, Manny Malhotra is going to take it. Is he? If you're Manny Malhotra and you're saying this is going to be a rebuild and you're thinking about your career, how many coaches finish rebuilds? They don't finish rebuilds. So maybe we take some of these assumptions about coaches that these gigs only appear every now and then. You got to take whatever you can get. When you're looking at career longevity, it might not be the smartest thing to do.
Yeah, I've always been told it's 1 of 32. You got to take it. But you're right.
I know.
He's a good name, though, so if he holds out, he's still going to get a shot, you'd think.
So here's my theory. It is going to be quite difficult because, as Jeff Merrick, who has been Kreskin on this matter, foreshadowed for us way back in September, October, Caleb Malhotra is probably going to be a higher pick than the experts thought at the beginning of the year. But
this guy,
the theory would be you elevate Manny, you trade what you have to trade with that second first-round pick to move up and take Caleb Malhotra, and then you go ahead and you present, see, we are actually doing a rebuild. We've got McKenna or Stenberg. We've got Malhotra. We've got Manny. We're doing as you pleased, Vancouver public. Again, it's
Listen,
going to be
if you
hard
could-
because
if you-
when
if-
Caleb
if-
was
if-
a 15 to 25 guy, that's a trade that I
Yeah.
think is if Caleb is a 5 to 15 guy, as Jeff has been telling us, that's
so
going to
good.
be more
He's so good.
difficult
And he-
to do.
And he keeps on getting better too, and he plays a premium position. You're gonna love him like both on and off the ice, like everything. He is the son that you would expect Manny Malhotra to have, if that makes sense. Like, he is already a thorough professional. He's going to be someone that whomever gets him is going to be, proud to have them as a member of the team. Like, at every single level, Caleb Malhotra is absolutely nailing it, and he's an outstanding player at the same time too. And if you can land 2 in the top 5 and pick up Malhotra along the way, if you're the Vancouver Canucks, then all of a sudden the brother act turns into father-son. From Burke to Rutherford here, it's a sexy showbiz play certainly, and it's a very smart hockey play.
You want sexy showbiz play? Which is a better nostalgia play, Matt's play, or the Ruck Twins in Medicine Hat? Where you've already got those draft picks perfectly.
Yeah.
Minnesota and your 32nd overall pick would get you the Ruck Twins. It's already plug and play.
Yeah. Liam has so much helium, he may actually go before the second first round pick.
But you tell me, getting Twins back on the Vancouver Canucks, I mean, that would be pretty cool too.
Yeah. That would be super cool as well. One thing that I did want to mention, speaking of Vancouver here and prospects, how did you guys feel about Macklin Celebrini yesterday trying to wave off the high stick?
I thought I think he knows in his heart of hearts he's probably it's not gonna affect it. Like, a ref's not pulling that back. He felt bad immediately. Like, we know the kid a little bit. I think he immediately felt like, oh God, and he knows cameras are everywhere. He knows it's good. So I think he was like, oh, it was his instinct, I think, even though I think intellectually he knew that it wasn't going to get pulled back.
Yeah.
I'm not sure there's a single human being more wired mentally, emotionally, or physically to be the next face of the National Hockey League in this era and with younger audiences.
Yeah.
I think Macklin is going to hit every right note at every stage around us throughout his career, and do it with more charisma and pizzazz than Sidney or Wayne or Mario or Gordy or anyone who has ever done it
He's
before.
Sidney's character, but with more fun.
Way more personality
Yes.
and way more
Yes.
fun-loving.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
here's the thing. The NHL is not going to beat the personality out of this
I hope
kid
not, yeah.
because he is going to be such a star that he is going to set new rules, and he's going to take that code, and it's going over the shoulder. Goodbye. New era. Macklin Celebrini's here. That's my prediction.
What did you think?
Okay, so a couple of things came to mind right away. I remember one of the times interviewing Sidney Crosby, and I asked him what he regrets early on in his career. And he said he's spent a lot of time apologizing over the years to referees. He said, like, early in my career, I was awful to referees. We all know, but and this happened to Wayne too, right? Like, Wayne was the same way. Or like kids whining, complaining, blah 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 blah. Sidney said that he spent a lot of time apologizing to referees over the years for how he behaved when he was a younger player in the league. So I have a couple thoughts here. So one, Macklin Celebrini thinks about hockey differently, having grown up in a very athletic family, and understands this game at a lot of different levels. One, there's a stick near his face, and I've always said this, like, you're not trying to draw a penalty by throwing your head back. What you're doing is you're trying to protect your face.
Yeah.
And if you see suddenly something pop in front of your face, your natural instinct, whether it's on the ice or on the street or walking through your kitchen, your first instinct is to throw your head back. It's not to draw a penalty. And I think that Celebrini is sensitive about not wanting to earn a certain reputation amongst officials that he dives to draw penalties. Like, we all looked at that and said, wow, you know what? Good for him. That's like the code. You're not faking it out there. You're not diving. Good for this kid. Pause. It's a gold medal game, Canada versus USA.
Wow.
And someone gets a stick up around Macklin Celebrini's face,
different.
and he throws his head back and the arm goes up. Does Macklin Celebrini say,
Nope.
No, he didn't high stick me.
That's
No
different.
chance.
That's different.
No
That's
chance
different.
he does it.
Oh, wait.
He knew they were beating the
wait.
Vancouver
Hey,
Canucks. He does.
Do we hang
What's
on
the
a second?
score? It's 5-0 Canada. He might.
Do we like what he did? Well, we do on a Thursday night in the NHL.
That's
in
right.
Sure do.
January.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
Do we like it in a gold medal game against the United
No,
States?
as you know, come that gold medal game, John Ferguson Sr., Bobby Clark rules apply.
As our parents all told us, there's a time and
Exactly.
place for everything.
That dirty Harlamoff had it coming
okay.
to him, Jeff.
Oh,
all right?
Yes, right.
We
And that's why,
are
that's why
going
Rick,
to need
that's
you
why
to
Rick-
recite the loyalty creed
Yeah.
here. You
That's right.
are at risk of
Right.
losing your passport.
Which is why Bobby Clark had to break his ankle and Ricky Lee had to punch him in the handshake line during the WHA versus Soviets.
He had
4 or
that
5
coming
game series,
too.
whatever that was. In the handshake line, yes.
That's
He
right.
Existed in front of Rick Lee, so he had to come
How
to
dare
him.
he exist in front of tough Rick Lee? You know,
That's awesome.
you
I
don't
love
wave the
it.
bait in front of Ricky Lee and get away with it.
No, you don't, sir. You do not.
You had Evander Kane
great.
information I wanted to get to today. I
Sure.
saw it earlier the week on the sheet. Devils are interested there?
I'm sorry, the first part, Devils are interested.
Devils are interested in Evander Kane?
They have been previously. There have been like when Evander Kane was in Edmonton last year or the year before. There was the New Jersey Devils. Things may have changed, but the New Jersey Devils were a team that had conversations with the Oilers about Evander Kane. Should they remember there was a salary cap situation last year? Should they have to make a move? Evander Kane, I believe that there were some discussions there, and I believe at times the Rangers had showed interest in Evander Kane. Again, this is
They're not buying right.
This is the Rangers
Neither-
are not.
neither are the
not
Devils,
buying.
though. I don't
They're-
think the Devils are.
The Devils just shed Palat, so
Yeah. But
We'll
They just
see.
shed Palat and they just lost Jack Hughes again last night.
Yes,
so
they did.
we'll
And
see
they're
what the
9
update
points
is
back.
there.
yeah,
playoff
no,
spot.
exactly. It's
I know.
getting long, short in the
know.
day. Okay, Easter egg time. As always,
Okay.
you have Blake Price at your disposal, and I felt really bad about the degree of difficulty last week. So I have quite
liked last
dumbed
week. That was
this
fun.
one down so that it doesn't require
you
you
think?
knowing that you can make an educated guess, I guess is what I'm saying.
Okay.
So this week we celebrated the 10-point game of Darryl Sittler, the all-time record for points in a single NHL hockey game. Nobody has scored 9 points in a game. He's actually 2 better than anybody has ever scored in the game with that 10-point game.
Mm-hmm.
How many instances of 8-point games have there been in NHL history? How many 8-point games in NHL
Okay.
history?
I'm gonna say 3.
yeah, that was my gut too. Honestly, right on the nose.
So I'm gonna
We're
go.
going with 3?
I'm gonna go Mario. I'm gonna go Rocket, and I'm gonna go Patrick Sundstrom.
Patrick, I in my mind, I've got a crazy Lanny McDonald game in my mind. But you go ahead. What are we at?
Rocket Richard is correct. Mario Lemieux is correct. You guys, you said 3?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Add 6.
9
There
8-point
have
games.
been
Many?
9
Wow.
8-point games in NHL history. The
Okay.
bonus
Was
question.
Sundstrom one of them?
Sundstrom
Was
was not
Sundstrom
one.
one?
of them. Sundstrom was not one. The bonus question. Who's done it most recently?
Who had a crazy one?
Yes, Blake.
Eberle?
Not Eberle, but you're in the right territory.
Yeah, it was somebody like that.
2012.
Sam
Was it
Gagne?
Taylor Hall?
Very good, Blake Price.
Gagne.
Sam
Oh, Gagne,
Gagne
of course,
in
against Chicago.
2012 had an
Ah,
8-point
great.
game.
Of course.
The others on the list, Brian Trottier, Wayne Gretzky, Bert Olmsted of the 54 Habs. I've never seen this name in my life. Jeff, you might have to help me. Philadelphia Flyer,
do you got?
1977, Tom Bladen?
Tom Bladen, yeah,
Bladen.
Yeah, Tom Bladen. That was 4 goals, 4 assists against Cleveland, and I believe the final score of that game was 11-1.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then 2 guys with 8-point games on the same night. playing on the same line
Not Oilers.
as rookies, not Oilers.
What decade?
We 19
Hang on.
1981. We have mentioned their team in this segment already.
Okay, Stastny's.
Very good.
Which
ones?
Yeah.
Peter and Anton.
Yes.
Peter and Anton. Peter and Anton.
Peter and Anton.
I was wondering about like
each
Luke,
had
Luke
8-point
Robitaille and
nights
Jimmy Carson or something like that.
in an 11-7 victory at the Capitals in February '81 as rookies.
That's amazing. You know what? I've thought a lot about this one. I don't think that Sittler record will ever be broken. Like, there's a few that'll never be broken. Through a few records. I don't think Ovechkin's ever will. I don't think that Glenn Hall's consecutive streak will. I don't think that Billy Smith's 21 career fights as a goaltender will ever be broken.
As we discussed last week, yes.
If
As we
Gretzky
discussed
Lemieux
last
couldn't
week.
do it, if McDavid can't do it, it's not happening. I agree.
No, but here's why. Here's remember Tage Thompson a couple of years ago against the Columbus Blue Jackets and had 5 points in the first period. We're like, oh
Yep.
my God, Sittler watch. This is amazing. And what happened?
Shut down the game.
They reduced his ice time. They reduced his
Yeah,
ice
well-
time. PP1 wasn't going out there.
Right.
He wasn't on the first power. There's not a spirit in the NHL right now about players showing up other players and blowing teams out and throwing your first power play unit out there. I think personally, I find that as someone who loves the history of the game but wants every single record to be broken because I want every generation of hockey fan to be able to say my generation broke records. I think it's really important for the health of the game. I find it sort of criminal the way that teams will not embrace, and Buffalo was guilty of this with Tage Thompson, not embrace the idea of your player achieving individual greatness. Do we know if Tage Thompson would have hit Darryl Sittler's tent? We don't. But they never gave him a good shot at it.
Here's where I'll agree with you on that.
But
It's an entertainment product, and if you've committed, especially on the PP1, the 5-on-5 ice time, you want to decrease that in a game like that, sure. But if you've committed a penalty, I'm sorry, it's an entertainment product.
I agree.
PP1 should be able to go out there.
No, but guys, from a coach's perspective, you have a 5-point period. Astonishing. You're only halfway there.
Yeah.
You've got 40 minutes to get 5 points, which would be a stupid, ridiculous achievement on any other night.
60 minutes. Yes.
So, well, no, if you're after the first period, you got 5.
I'm saying that would be a crazy achievement for 60 minutes.
But
never mind
it's
40.
even more astonishing for over 40 minutes. So I think coach, player, and everyone alike is like, what are the odds? What are the chances? And they just surrender on it early.
But the thing is, I think I'm gonna sound so stupid what I'm about to say, but grain of salt. I think you owe it to hockey. This guy's close
I'm
to a record.
100% with you, but they don't think that way.
But that's the thing. They do, and that's why we got to go back to 1976,
Right.
For the record. And again, so part of that story was, so Jerry Cheevers had just come back from the WHA, and he didn't want to go in the game, and he put a towel on his head on the bench, like, do not, I am not going in this game. So
I remember
poor
that story,
Dave Reese had to rot in net, and Dave never played another game in the NHL again.
We may
left
have seen
Dave-
a
poor
template
Dave
things
Reese
you
in there
don't
to
see.
rot.
We may
Also
have
things
seen
you
a
don't see today.
we may have seen a template for it though to happen. Is the Sam Gagner night is a perfect example of the only way that it can happen, because no coach after the game is like, you can't keep throwing Sam Gagner over the boards. It's Sam Gagner. It's true. That's the best case to happen, is that some guy in the middle six goes off. Because then the coach on the other side can't be like, why are you still throwing Sam Gagner over the boards? Because it's Sam Gagner.
Tom Bladen, you had your shot in 77. Yeah. No, the
Philadelphia
extent of
Flyers,
NHL head coaches getting romantic is, so-and-so is from Edmonton. He'll get the opening shift when we play the Oilers.
Yeah.
Bingo.
That's the extent of their
You could take the opening
story
face-off
into their
after that.
consideration. Yeah.
You're 100% right. And that's why, unfortunately, that record will probably never be broken until finally we come to the realization that if a player's got a shot at a record like that, I'm sorry about respecting the other team. I'm sorry about running up the score. You owe it to hockey to keep throwing that guy over the boards. Get the record. Go get the record.
No one is more qualified, more passionate about the game to be the you owe it to hockey police
You do.
commissioner than Jeff Merrick. Watch him daily
Stupid.
on the sheet, and he joins us usually on
Thank you, Jeff.
Fridays. Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks, boys. I needed a good laugh after this week. You guys are the best. Thanks, boys.